The lipstick plant, a really spectacular, exotic looking flower. It's an indoor plant, and could you imagine when you have a really healthy specimen covered in flowers, how beautiful that looks? Unfortunately, you can tell that's not the case in this plant. This plant suffered from a fair bit of neglect, and we're going to be correcting that in this video, so please keep watching. Welcome back. I'm Thelma. Before we go into troubleshooting what's wrong with these plants and how to correct it, let me introduce the lipstick plant properly. Its botanical name is Escananthus radicans. It flowers mainly in the warmer months between May and October and produces bunches of lovely red flowers resembling a tube of lipstick, hence its name. It is a popular houseplant, and it is usually placed in a location indoors that has bright but indirect light. Here are two plants that are in a terrible condition. Looking at the plant closely, you see several symptoms. I guess the first one that jumps out is this yellowing of this leaf, and in probably the vast majority of leaves you see spots. They all relate to too much soil moisture. Now, why would I say that? Well, apart from sticking my finger in it and knowing it's wet, we've had some really serious rains in the last few days, and there are times during the heavy rainfall period, these plants get really too much water. This plant is really rather heavy, which tells me that the potting mix is not as light as lipstick plant likes it. In order to correct these problems, I'm going to have to take these plants out of their containers, and I'll start with this first plant. A little pressure on the sides of the container to dislodge the root ball, and it should come out quite easily. Yep. Oh, talk about excess soil moisture. And in addition to moisture, the potting mix is much too heavy. It seems like it was mostly soil. These plants definitely need rescuing before it's too late. Step 1. Remove the stem segments and wash the roots. In this section, these cuttings had healthy roots. This is the section that was in that pot that was really, really soggy, and you could see very few. All the roots are dark, essentially dead. So I'm now going to prune the various segments. Both the leaves and the roots will be pruned, and before cutting any plant material, you sanitize your tools, and I'm using rubbing alcohol, that's isopropyl alcohol. This is a nice cutting. It's rooting from two nodes, and that is excellent. We'll want to continue that. The flower is very attractive, but since we're now concentrating on vegetative growth, I'm going to sacrifice it. So this one segment, we're going to get two cuttings and just removing the lower leaves that will get in the way. Now here's a nice long segment. So I'm removing the rotted section. I expect that when the plant resumes growth, it will produce shoots from here and here. So the roots that are remaining are fairly healthy, so this is a good segment. I'll quickly prepare the remaining segments, including sanitizing them with equal parts of 3% hydrogen peroxide and water. I've selected two attractive pots and will now proceed to fill them. So the mixture is 3 parts commercial mixture, which has vermiculite and perlite and peat, 1 part sand and 1 part soil. So I've placed quite a bit of the mixture, almost 2 inches from the top, and now I'm going to just water it and let it settle for a little while. Now, planting is as easy as making an indentation inserting the segments and firming them in place. I'll quickly do the others. And since I want a nice lush display plant as quickly as possible, I'll put at least 8 segments in this 8-inch pot. Here I'm adding 1 tablespoon of 14-14-14 NPK slow release fertilizer with micronutrients. This should supply the plants with sufficient nutrients for between 10 and 12 weeks. I'll do the same process for the second pot. And here they are. These lipstick plants now have a fresh start in a new free-draining, nutrient-rich potting mix. And we expect that in short order, hopefully in about 6 months, this plant would recover to the point where it would be full of blooms. And to avoid a repeat of the root rot problem, I'll apply water only when the top 3 inches of the potting mix are dry, and of course, keep them out of the way of excess rainfall. Actually, one pot had lipstick blooms 6 weeks after this exercise. Take a look at it. This brings me to the end of this lipstick resuscitation video. I had fun bringing it to you. And of course, I look forward to providing you with an update as soon as both pots are in full bloom. If you liked the content that we just provided you, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed as yet, please, we're asking you to do so, because that way we know you appreciate the content and that you would like us to continue. So until the next video, I am Thelma in the Calyx Garden saying thanks for watching, take care, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.